All right, hey, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us on this fine Thursday evening. My name's Abe, and so this is kind of gonna be the chain of events tonight. We're gonna do some introductions. We're gonna have some Vet to Viz story. Then we're gonna introduce our guest speaker, do some event announcements, and then of course discussion, networking, all that good stuff. Me, myself, I'm speaking. Lou and Tim, if you guys want to say what's up. Ethan's not here tonight, unfortunately. He's stuck in Florida.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'll go first. I'm Tim, co-lead of this tug. 4 years active Air Force, 6 years in the Air National Guard of Massachusetts and Maryland. Worked at the VA for a while, and now I'm with the FAA with the Office of Commercial Space Transportation with rockets and stuff. So it's cool. And everything else, you can check out my LinkedIn profile, which I'll put to the chat. And I encourage everyone to put your LinkedIn and everything in the chat.
Yeah, hi everyone. If we haven't met Lou Luangzai, I'm currently a product manager with Wells Fargo. So I've been mainly in the corporate side, the financial service. So any question about finance, please feel free to reach out. Former Marine aviation. So we're looking forward to this gem. I consider it. If you don't know about branding, I think this would be very, very useful. So I had the fortunate to get this information from the can we call him the king, Albert Michael Quinn, when it comes to LinkedIn, leveraging LinkedIn. So I'm looking forward to what Albert is presenting. Welcome, everybody.
Yeah, and me, former Marine, financial analyst. Yeah, so doing that. I've been mostly doing SQL and R, but looking to get into Tableau again real soon. All right, so now we'd like to take a couple brave volunteers to do the Vet to Viz story. And what the Vet to Viz story is, kind of your origin story of who you are, how you got affiliated with the military, whether you're a veteran, a spouse, a dependent, and then how you got into data. So any volunteers, someone just start talking, and then we'll take a few and then move on, to Albert's presentation. Cool. So any takers?
I could go.
Go ahead.
So I literally talked to Abe today via LinkedIn. I'm a Marine Corps veteran myself. I'm actually going through school right now. I'm doing a Master of Finance program in New Orleans at the University of Tulane. I wouldn't say I'm quite in data or data analytics, but I did a data analytics minor in my undergrad, and it's also just super prevalent in finance. Like, they want people who are good at programming. They want people who know R and sometimes Stata and things like that, because it is a lot of data nowadays. So just trying to kind of find my edge in the finance community via the data analytics route, if that makes sense.
Awesome. Well, thank you for letting me con you into coming. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll go next. Everybody can hear me?
Yep.
Hey, so I'm Bill. I'm currently in the Marine Corps. My retirement date is this coming June, but I'm doing a skill bridge right now. I'm doing a corporate fellowship with Analect, actually the company that Al works for. And so I know him before this this meetup. He's the one that told me about this, but I have no background in data at all. But it's something that I really want to get into. I've kind of gotten my feet wet in SQL. I'm taking the Google Data Analytics course right now. I've done some work with Tableau, just some tutorials. So I'm really looking forward to this.
All right, thanks.
Bill is also a fellow artillery person. Recovering.
How much time we got for Tim, you think? One or two more?
We can do another one, yeah.
Okay, yeah. Anyone else?
I got you guys. Anis Mersey here. Yeah, great. Great to be here. This is super awesome. I just learned about this meetup or whatever you want to call it, and from LinkedIn. I left the military December of last year, so relatively recently. And then I did some stuff with data in the military in terms of working with web applications. I heard someone said philately earlier. I did that for my first 5 years, and then my last 5 years, I did 10 years of service before I left. Last 5 years, I was working with Department of the Army civilians, contractors, and we were just making web applications for the Army, which was awesome. And then the last part of my service, I was able to teach GIS classes where I really got super in depth on, on data visualizations. And here I am now as a product manager, working still with data, but on the AI side, anything you bring in, right, data garbage that comes in is going to be garbage on the other side. So kind of working more with data from like wrangling it, making sure it's in the proper formats, the way we expect it, and trying to visualize it properly on the other end.
Nice, awesome, super, super impressive. What do you think, Tim? Do you think we should hand it off?
Yeah.
All right, awesome. Well, now it's time for our guest speaker, Albert Bellamy. The Marine who smiles at spreadsheets, LinkedIn expert, guru, whatever have you. He is a recently retired Marine. Very thankful for him to come tonight. So Albert, I am gonna pass you the screen. And
I don't know why you squished my head on that picture, man. Come on, you better than that.
I just took it from your LinkedIn.
Come on, lock the aspect ratio. It's not amateur hour. Now I'm struggling. All right, you guys seeing me full screen?
Yes, sir.
Not me, the slideshow, obviously. Slides are the show, it's not me. All right, so full disclosure, I haven't delivered this talk in a couple of months, and to be honest with you, I didn't rehearse worth the crap. The other thing is I developed this slideshow for a talk that I gave to an Indian audience. So it was really cool. I got up at 3 o'clock on a Saturday morning to be part of one of their conferences. And I thought it went well. I think I had an audience of like 5 people. So 41 here is pretty amazing, even though like 5 of you work here. So you got to be here anyway. But yeah, what we're here to talk about today is digital networking and personal branding. So if you're looking for Astronomy 101, it's next door. Now, I don't think I'm going too far out on a limb here to say that this is the most important talk that you're ever going to hear at this Tableau users group. And the reason why I say that is in literally like a year and some change, I've discovered these things that are the stumbling blocks and the dividers between the haves and the have-nots in data, and who's got a job and who doesn't, who's succeeding where they want to and who isn't. So we can talk about Tableau till we're blue in the face. I can't because I suck at Tableau, but I don't suck at Tableau. I'm actually somewhat mediocre at Tableau, but these are the things that are going to get you to the finish line. You can learn Tableau on your own. You ain't going to learn from me. Okay. So why is this talk the most important? This is a thing that most people lack. I hear from people all the dang time. They come to me and say, why? Like, why can't I find a job? Tell me, teach me. How do I do this? All right. When I look at them and I look at what they're lacking, these things I'm going to talk about today, this is the stumbling block. This is the divider. I mean, I dream of the day that someone comes to me and says, why can't I find a job? And I look at their profile, it's like, well, you don't have a college degree. You don't have any qualifications. Like, technically incompetent people don't come ask, why can't I get work? They know why, because they're incompetent. It's the people that are qualified that can't figure out how to get from here to there. How do I get from graduation or Google Data Analytics or whatever thing that I've just passed, this rite of passage, to actually getting paid employment in this field? Those are the people that are befuddled, and they think they're doing everything right, but they're doing everything old-fashioned. And what they're doing is they're printing out their resume, maybe putting some good work into it, and they're printing out a stack of them, sometimes electronically, and then they're just firing them off, trying to get jobs the old-fashioned way. So they are technically qualified, and it befuddles them why they need all this other kind of frou-frou stuff that I'm about to talk about. Now, if you fire off a stack of resumes for online jobs, tell me in this day and age if that's likely to work. If anybody here has tried that and had it work for them, I'm all ears. There are always exceptions to the rule. I will tell you that at Analect, when we advertise a job in data for analytics or data science, we tend to get somewhere in the neighborhood of 1,000 or more applications. So if you're one of those 1,000, what's the odds that you're actually going to get a job? Well, all things being equal, probably 1 in 1,000. If that's a job you want, those aren't good odds, I would say. I'm not a mathematician, but that seems fairly obvious. And so what are you going to do to get over that hump and improve your chances? Please don't tell me that your bid for success is I'm going to do that times 1,000 and then I'll definitely get a job. That sounds like a lot of work to me. So the difference is what you need is an inside referral. So we're going to talk about how you get there from here. Now I've got this handy acronym that I've come up with. And so I'm trying to translate this from the original Indian pitch. Okay, so it's PNCPB, which when I put it together, I thought, hey, you know, PNC, the bank, that works. And then peanut butter, that's easy to remember. Well, then I stopped and thought, well, they probably don't have PNC Bank in India. And maybe they're one of those countries that think peanut butter is gross. I don't know, or they don't have it at all. So I had to think of something different. Now, PNCPB stands for Profile, Network, if it ever pops up. Come on now, there we go. Okay. Content, portfolio, and brand. Now, I had to come up with a mnemonic device other than bank peanut butter that would make sense to my audience. So I came up with this one. Please network courageously for a powerful brand. Now, what makes words easier to remember? Pictures. All Marines love pictures. Please network courageously. That one's for Abe. For a powerful brand. All right. Abe loves Arnold. Now, I didn't pick these words at random just because they fit my handy mnemonic device. They have meaning. So please, I need to stress to you that it's important to be polite and humble throughout this process, okay? You're gonna face rejection, even on LinkedIn, it happens. Network courageously, why? Because we gotta overcome that dreaded F word. And I swore to Tim I wouldn't swear today. So it's not what you think, get your mind out of the gutter, it's fear. The F word is fear, overcome that. We've got to push through that dreaded imposter syndrome we always hear so much about. And you've got to have confidence in the power of your story. I'm going to tell you that your story is meaningful and your story is interesting simply if you have the guts to tell it. So what I've got to do is get you to where you've got the guts to talk about yourself and what you're doing. My man, Jeff Bezos, your brand is what other people say about you when you're not in the room. So we're working for that powerful brand. Now, think about a brand that works for you when you're not there to even tell your own story. Imagine this scenario. There's a startup company, they've got some capital, they're trying to hire an analytics team. And one of them says, hey, I've heard of this dude, Abe Diaz. This crazy bastard is out there trying to use data to improve his win-loss record in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Imagine if we could get a guy with that kind of foresight and imagination and creativity on our own team. Let's go throw a bunch of money at him and see if he'll come work for us. Now compare that to, hey, I've got this stack of 1,000 resumes. Somewhere in the middle is some dude named Bellamy who I've never heard of. He's got a 1 in 1,000 chance, all right? Now, if you don't have an internal referral, you've got to have that reputation precede you into the room. Abe's working on that, I'm working on that. You got to ask yourself, is that something that you possess? And if not, how do you get there from here? All right, briefly, who am I? Abe gave me a little intro, so I don't need to belabor the point. I retired from the Marine Corps. There's a picture of me talking to a room full of crayon eaters a few years back. In August of 2020, I decided to retire. Various reasons for that. No reason to talk about it here, but I had about a year to get ready. My actual retirement date was in September of last year. What I started doing in the very limited time that I had in the billet that I held at the time was going to these webinars. And I highly recommend them. I talk about them offline. They're USO transitions webinars, but it was on how to use LinkedIn. So if anybody's been to Mike Quinn's talks, he's the godfather and I learned a ton from him. A bunch of the crew that were in those webinars, we kind of got to joking with Mike one night and we started this 30-day content challenge. Really, it was to win a free t-shirt. It was a joke. that 30-day challenge launched me and taught me so many lessons. It launched me into podcasting. It launched me into kind of meeting all of these grand poobahs of the, you know, the LinkedIn data environment. And I really trace my origins back to that. That enabled just about everything that I'm doing today. And so that's the reason why I challenge people today. So I needed some sort of edge for this massive career pivot that I was about to do, because Bill can tell you, they don't need artillerists in the civilian world. It's not a thing. All right, so I want to give you a couple of caveats. I worry that people think that, that discount some of the things I've done and say that, well, you had to be in the military to do that, or you had to be a field grade officer to do that. None of it, literally none of it. I could have done everything if I was, you know, a Lance Corporal getting out after 4 years. Anyone can do what I have done. All that is required, other than some basic qualifications, obviously, you know, college degree is a good thing to have. You've got to have the guts to get out there and put yourself out there and be brave and create something, okay? Create content, create a portfolio, create something that can be judged and potentially judged harshly, okay? You got to be able to deal with that. Personal brand is a powerful tool for a professional, especially someone that's going into a field that doesn't have an actual earned work reputation to lean on. And a robust, I'm misreading my own slides here. A robust network can and will create opportunity without your active participation. Think about the people that are looking at your LinkedIn profile, your portfolio while you're sleeping, while you're on vacation, while you're not in the room. That's the power of all of these tools. Why do I focus on LinkedIn? I won't bore you with the stats. I kind of look at that 87% of recruiters and it's like, why is that not 100%? I don't know if 13% of them are in like a corner of Montana where they don't have internet or something. But think about people searching your name. How many jobs are you going to go try out for where the first thing they're going to do is not Google Tim Blaisdell if they're bringing them in for an interview? Everybody does that. If Matt was here and he wasn't blowing me off, he could tell you that. I even wore Matt's shirt tonight. I can't believe he's not here, scumbag. Anyway, the first thing they do is Google you before they invest in like a background check or anything that requires real money and effort. They're going to web search your name. The first thing that comes up for 99% of us on Google is our LinkedIn profile, okay? Never mind the fact that they're probably just going to check you on LinkedIn right off the bat to see if you've put in the effort and you have something on there that says, you know, I'm an active professional, I'm looking for a job, right? So that's why I focus on LinkedIn. All right, so back to my 5 steps. The first one is P, and you're going to complete that profile. Now, notice I did not say perfect your profile. We're going to get into that. I don't spend a ton of time on profile here tonight because my assumption is most people that are here doing this talk have a fairly complete profile. However, I do see mistakes even with people in this group. Your profile photo. I'm going to stress 2 things with profile. First of all, visuals. Visuals are huge. We all know, I mean, what replaced Facebook? Instagram, more visuals, right? What replaced Instagram? Snapchat. What replaced Snapchat? Now we're on to, you know, YouTube has been overtaken by TikTok. Moving visuals, all of this stuff is impactful. What can you do now with your LinkedIn profile picture? You can put a 30-second video on there giving your elevator pitch, right? All of these things, these are the trends from text to visual, from visual to video. You got to get with that or you're going to fall behind. Okay, so the visuals are huge and I'll stress that. The other thing that's huge is search engine optimization. I'm going to tell you 4 things you can do on your profile that will have you getting hit on search engines. And again, that's that engagement and that brand that works when you're not in the room, when you're not actively engaging. Okay, profile photo, make sure it's smiling. Lou, make sure it's smiling. All right. I had to modify this for the Indian audience because I see a lot of them with these like stone cold faces in their pictures. And I know that in India, there's some slight cultural differences. In America, if you're not smiling in your picture, you look unapproachable. And there's a whole bunch of studies and data to back that up. And we're data-driven people. So we should be all about that, right? So smile in your picture. Make sure it's not you cropped out of a group photo. Make sure it's not like a photo of you and your ex-wife and she's blurred out or something like that. Like, don't do that. Make it a picture that was meant to be a profile picture. Just your head and shoulders. That's all. Make sure you're well dressed for the job that you want. The data analyst, you know, should be business casual. I don't have a tie on in my picture. Abe does. You know, ties work for Abe's. I look like an accountant with a tie on. Okay, your current position. This is going to go in your headline unless you modify your headline. Here's what I don't want to see. Everybody, please, if you are still climbing the mountain, please take out the following words from your headline: student, aspiring, hopeful, future, in training. Get rid of it. There's something I want, you know, you don't have to say it along with me. I was going to have you say it along with me, but you know, you can just kind of mouth it and pantomime it. We are what we do. We are what we do. If you analyze data, you are a data analyst. It doesn't matter if you're still in college. If you're working at it, you are what you do. You are a data analyst. Notice I didn't say you're a commercial airline pilot or a certified public accountant or something that requires an actual certificate to perform that. But data analytics, we get people from all fields with like psychology degrees. I've got an economics degree. You know, it takes all kinds, but if you've got the aptitude for it and you can come in and execute, you're a data analyst, okay? So stop with the aspiring stuff. People want to be brutally honest with their profile. You don't want to be brutally honest. Just be like average level honest. Industry should be the one that you intend to work in. If you don't have a domain, if you're coming into data analytics and you don't know if you want to go into finance or into healthcare, et cetera, you don't need to be too specific on that. But you know, try and be as specific as possible. Because you niche down, you're going to be better off. Location, if you're currently somewhere stationed in the military, if you're at Camp Lejeune and you intend to move back to Chicago, which is your home, to work, you should consider making that future location your location on LinkedIn, because that's where recruiters are going to look for you.
Wow, I should do that like right now since I'm moving to Kansas City.
Probably, yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Got to get those passive opportunities, man. Appreciate it, Abe. All right, 5 skills. You got to put at least 5 skills on there to qualify for that all-star profile. You have space for up to 50. Everyone has 5. I would say everyone has 50 unless you're like in high school. You can put as many soft skills on there as you want: problem solving, you know, team member, all of these kind of wishy-washy things if you don't have a ton of technical skills. But even just within data analytics, you can get as specific as you want: people analytics, sports marketing analytics, media analytics, social media analytics. All of these are skills you can put under there. I would urge you, when I look at profiles that are lacking and people that can't get jobs, I generally see them listing like 7 to 10 skills. Don't do that. You got 50, list 50, or at least get close. I don't know if we have any students in the room, but education, if you're still a student, list your program details and your graduation date. Everybody else, I think, here is probably more or less through school. And then summary or about section. This thing is huge. Just imagine this as the answer to the question, tell me about yourself, that everybody dreads and everybody knows is coming. But you know, when you read through that thing, the space that they allot you, you can read through it in like 2 to 3 minutes. That's about the time that they recommend you talk during your tell me about yourself answer. You can make it as professional as you want. You can make it a little bit funny. It's, you know, the flavor is up to you. That is something that gets hit by search engines a ton. So you really need to put some focus into it. You can be creative with that. Hey, now you're an all-star. Things did not work out all that well for old Smash Mouth, did they? So funny story, when I was preparing this, again, for an Indian audience, it was literally when I clicked on this slide, I was like, oh, I don't know if they even like Shrek. Like, was this big in India? And was that song translated into Hindi? I don't know. I just rolled through. There was only 5 people watching anyway. No big deal. All right. So, but we're not quite finished. Okay. That is to qualify you for the all-star profile. Congrats. You can literally knock that out in like half an hour. I'm going to give you 3 more things to put you over the top. And again, we're going to stress visuals and search engine optimization. Okay. First of all, there's my stuff right there, not squished like Abe had it. Banner picture, okay, it's on brand for me. Yes, I'm a data analyst. I do a lot with the American Legion. I talk a lot about veteran transition issues. That was a march we did to benefit programs helping with veteran suicide. And you know, it was very, very intense memory for me. So I leave that up there. I'm about to actually change it because we just did that last Veterans Day and rotating back off, but make sure it's on brand. You can get a custom one made that talks about you and your accomplishments and all that sort of stuff. I wouldn't pay for it though. I mean, Canva's amazing. So just get on there. Your headline, please personalize it. The headline can auto-populate to job title, industry, location, and like there's like 3 or 4 things that'll go in and auto-populate it. Your headline and your summary section can both auto-populate. Those auto-populated sections stick out like a sore thumb. If you've been on LinkedIn more than 5 minutes, you can probably recite what a summary section looks like if the computer has generated. Don't let robots do your thinking for you. Don't let robots do your writing for you. This is your professional brand. Write it yourself, okay? Headline, I've got some funny stuff in there, you know, it's mildly funny. I'm the Marine that smiles at spreadsheets. I used to have that in my elevator pitch. It got a laugh a couple of times during some transition seminars. And now I'm kind of stuck with it, okay? It's corny, but it's pretty memorable. I have actually been out in public and people point at me and go, it's the Marine that smiles at spreadsheets. And I have no freaking idea who they are. So that means it's probably working pretty well. All right. Your experience, list all your jobs as long as they're relevant. If you used to fill ice cream cones at the Dairy Queen, maybe that's not relevant, so you can skip that, okay? Let me back up just one. So, like I said, visuals are huge. Don't give up that banner space. Look how big that is. It surrounds your profile picture. When somebody goes on your profile and you don't have a banner, their response is, You don't want an when they look at your profile. You want them to go, ooh. The difference there is the visual. If they come on and your profile picture is you looking approachable and friendly, your banner picture is on brand, it looks pretty, it looks attractive. It's like when the platoon sergeant came into your room after field day and it smelled nice and it looked nice, that confirmation bias was going to make him or her figure out that your room was clean. Whether it was or it wasn't, you had already won the battle. If somebody looks at your profile and it's pretty and it looks organized and you look professional and friendly, you've already won that battle. Confirmation bias, it can work for you. All right, now I want to stress before we go on that none of these, that this is not a Gantt chart, these 5 steps. They are all iterative. My profile is not perfect. Every time I look at my profile, I'm like, oh God, that's terrible. And I change something, okay? Every one of these steps is iterative. So once you've got those 10 elements on your profile, then go heavy into networking. However, you're not done with profile. And just the same, once you have your network starting to work, you're not done with network, keep going. I network every day. Why digital networking? People always ask why LinkedIn. I would not have met any of these people. And I've met all of them, not in the flesh, but you know, through LinkedIn. I would not have met any of them if I was down at the country club schmoozing with a martini in my hand and doing networking the old fashioned way, or up at ECU in the Alumni Association. You know, I can ask all of these people. These people have gotten me paid employment and referrals in the past. Not all of them, but some of them. And every last one of them would talk to me if I sent them a message. So the one in the Middle East, I did this talk for a group in business people's group in Oman. So if you don't know her, don't feel bad. She's not a celebrity. I just put her on there when I made this graphic. All right. Targeted networking. Who knows what a lion is? Nobody?
Did you say a lion, like roar? Yeah. Okay.
I mean, not literally a lion, Jerson.
LinkedIn Open Network.
LinkedIn Open Network.
There you go. LinkedIn Open Network. You know what? But you got the guts to speak, so I appreciate that, man. Okay. Do not be a lion, AKA LinkedIn Open Network. All right. I get probably between 5 and 15 open network requests every day. People just click connect and fire that message or fire that connection request with no message. Look at all of those people in the picture on the right. Now, full disclosure, I actually did become an actual non-open connection with Carly Smith. So Carly, if you ever watch this, I didn't blot you out, but you were on the list for a bit. Now, every time I get an open network connection, every once in a while I go through the list and I accept or deny, but it becomes a mercenary decision for me. Now you haven't invested anything in me. So I'm looking to see if you're interesting or, there's any reason I want to connect with you. If there is, I always send a message. Now it's not terribly personal. You can see it right there. Your name, thanks so much for the connection, or some variation depending on how froggy I'm feeling that day. But it's nothing terribly personal. You didn't look at my profile, you didn't research me, and you didn't feel the need to say hello to me. So I'm not going to spend much time on you either. I accepted your connection, I send you a message. If I wait an hour or two and you don't answer the message, that message goes into archive. And that's where I pull up pictures like this to embarrass you after the fact, okay? So And if I ever hit the 35,000 connection cap, I'm going straight back into that message archive and start deleting these people to make room for people I actually care about. All right. You need meaningful connections. I have YouTube videos explaining exactly how to send a message with your connection request. It is possible, unless you're requesting like Elon Musk or some celebrity with millions of connections. It is possible, even if they have creator mode on, you can get through all the little, are you sure you want to do this? And they don't necessarily want to connect with you, all of that stuff, unless they've got their privacy filters jacked all the way up, okay? Send a message with your connection if you care about connecting with that person, and you should care.
Brady, did you have a question?
Yeah, sorry, just real
Sorry,
quick. In the previous point for the lion, the roar, so you're saying message someone or connect with someone, but also send them an actual message. That's the gist of that.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, all right.
Send a message with the connection. And it's that you don't have to use an in-mail. Like if you go to my YouTube account at the end of this, I've got one video on how to do it on mobile and one video on how to do it on desktop. It's slightly different.
Thank you.
But it's not particularly difficult. It's just not super obvious, especially on mobile. It's a little annoying.
Yeah, Albert, I have a question. So I've always considered, and I don't know if you're going to talk about this later, that when you're in LinkedIn, you get over 500 connections. It's 500 plus. Mm-hmm. Is that a status that you want?
It's based on a study that was done, and I don't remember what it was, but it's based on a study that was done that showed that the optimal network is 500 or more, and there's some advanced math involved in that, and probably some testing at some point that with all of the second and third order connections, mm-hmm. that is enough to to create opportunities for you and get you a job.
Got it.
I skimmed over it once. I couldn't cite it or show it to you. But.
Okay. All right. Cool. Thanks.
Yeah. Now, if you put creator mode on, it goes a bit more into the ego stroking of the influencer, and it puts your follower count up top. But if you don't have creator mode on, then it hides your follower count down by your featured content. So, okay. Is that it? All right. Yeah, thanks. Is it Body? Yeah, appreciate that. I'll just keep plowing through. I won't even see the hands.
Oh, sorry. I thought I saw an R. I called you Brady. My bad.
No, all good.
No worries. Thank you.
Yeah.
So anyway, so you need a network. You don't just need a number. And that was a great segue into this. Like open networkers, they're chasing that number. The number is not going to get you a job. None of those people on that last slide are going to get me a job, or vice versa. Imagine 6 months from now, one of those people throws it open and says, "Hey, Al, remember me?" No. I need a job. Do you have any referrals? Nope. Because what's going to happen if I refer AJ for a job? AJ might be an idiot. I don't know. I've never talked to him. So I refer him to a job at Anelect, and then he comes in and he sucks and he gets fired. Then I look like an idiot, right? So why would I do that? It's hard enough referring people that you actually know and trust, because who knows? Like life happens. They might screw up too. Then you look bad anyway. But I definitely wouldn't refer somebody that I've never talked to. At least have a conversation first. So yeah, you need a network, not a number. Don't worry about your follower account. Yeah, once you get to 500, you're a LinkedIn cool guy or gal, and you kind of move on with your life. I hear that this is one of the most crappy pieces of conventional wisdom out there, and I hate to say, your network is your net worth. There are so many logical and just there's so many holes in that. It's just dumb. It's too simplistic anyway. But if you want corny sayings, I did make one up specifically for this slideshow. In 2022, or whatever year it happens to be, you need a network to get work, right? Yeah, that's going to stick with you. You're going to remember that. Like as you're going to sleep tonight, you're going to be like, you need a network to get work. I can make up corny sayings too, but that one's actually true, right? Just remember that 1 in 1,000. You don't want to be 1 in 1,000. Always give yourself that chance to get ahead. All right. Building a network. Where are you going to go first? Well, if you remember back when you first got on LinkedIn, some of this is more recent than others. When you first get on there, what do they start with? The usual social media mix, right? Here's all your friends that you email. Here's all your family. Here's your freaking girlfriend from your sophomore year in high school that you never want to talk to again. Here's, your chemistry teacher, that sort of thing. Then you start branching out from that. That pool dries up for most of us pretty quickly, the actual friends and family. Because honestly, if your friends and family could get you a job, you wouldn't be here listening to this talk, would you? So start with those people. Then you continue on. Where do you go from there? You go to people that you have some sort of group connection or shared experience with. So people who are going to college, absolutely. Alumni, I wouldn't go too far into the high school thing. That's just such a crapshoot. But those of us that are veterans, people that we served with, that works super well. You go to that company that you want to target. Like at one point I targeted Red Hat because it's nearby and it's just got awesome jobs, it's got a great reputation. And I went into Red Hat and I was like, where are all the veterans at Red Hat? So the LinkedIn search function is amazing. You go into the company, people, and then previous company, United States Marine Corps, United States Navy, United States Air Force. I wasn't looking at Space Force back then, but Coast Guard, boom. And it shows every veteran that works at Red Hat. How easy is that? And then you just craft a message and request a connection. Talk about next, okay? Start hitting up recruiters, hiring managers, peers, people at your level, people just a hair above your level, somebody that got hired there, 6 months or a year ago. They're likely to know the process and they're likely to be sympathetic to your cause, being someone that wants a job there. Then you start connecting with people that interact with the people you're connecting with. You want to connect with people that engage, that create content. And then you start looking for people that are engaging with them. I will warn you, don't chase influencers, especially right off the bat, because it's just, you're going to wind up wasting your time and they don't generally have the time to help you anyway. All right, I got to speed up here. Like I said, add a note to your invitation. Look at this one. This is a mock-up that I did here. You want to be PEH, polite, engaging, and humble. That's another thing you got to remember, PEH. Polite personal greeting, polite closing, personal engagement. Maybe go beyond LinkedIn to find something interesting about them. If they have a YouTube channel, if they have written articles, if they have a blog or something like that, go find out what they care about and take a look. If you find it interesting, tell them that. If you have an idea for them, tell them that. People like it when you go find their content, especially when it's off platform, it shows effort, all right? And then a simple ask. Generally, in this case, it's going to be that connection. You've got 300 characters to sell yourself on them clicking accept rather than ignore. And it's easy to click ignore because you don't get a message back. You don't get any kind of negative confirmation that, hey, that person said F you, right? So that's anonymous. It's easy to click ignore. You got to sell them on clicking accept and why they want to be involved with you. Don't ask for anything right off the bat, job, internship, referral. Don't do that. I wouldn't do that in the first message either, but individual results may vary. That's going to make them click ignore. I never understood the power of this quote until I started in this process, okay? And if you watch my TechVed TV videos, I actually said Andrew Carnegie instead of Dale Carnegie, and they went back and edited and put a bunch of graphics in the videos because all I did was talk to a camera. They literally put up a picture of Andrew Carnegie, the freaking robber baron. I was like, ooh, I feel really bad about that. Anyway, Dale Carnegie. How to win friends and influence people. Okay, so if you get all these connection requests, which ones are you going to accept? John Bowman sent me a message. I definitely connected with John Bowman. Eslam over there has 31 mutual connections. I probably connected with Eslam. The rest of these guys, don't know because I haven't talked to them since. So, what do you have in common with these people? What do you, even if they're from a foreign country, like if they're in the same industry, if you have a bunch of connections in common. But really the one thing that puts you over the top is that message. I've only ever heard one person say, don't send a message, and his scam likely is off. And his reason was kind of weird. So I won't go there again. Yeah, go beyond LinkedIn. I've developed personal relationships with a bunch of YouTubers early on just because I went and watched their YouTube videos. And when I connected with them, I was like, hey, I love this video. Did you ever think of interviewing this guy or this gal? And they really appreciate those ideas. All right, we're powering through content creation. This is a good one. This is obviously near and dear to my heart. And I feel like if there's these 5 things are the secret sauce to succeeding in networking and branding, if there's a secret sauce to the 5-step process, it's right here. It's content creation, because this is the one that most people are just terrified of, right? You got to get over the fear. The way we're going to get over that fear is with a crawl, walk, run approach. Crawl, you start with comments. Now, comments can be a bit of a minefield. Here's what I don't want to see. Who's seen that before? interested, 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 commenting for greater reach, 100% agree, maybe with a little 100 emoji, you know, a little bit extra flavor. None of that works. None of that highlights you. None of that really helps the post that much, just marginally. But you see all these influencers out there that say, hey, post, I've got this job. Comment interested below if you want to get referred. BS. They're not referring you to jack squat. There may not even be a job. They want freaking LinkedIn clout, and they want a bunch of people to jump on their comments section and start a conversation so that their post goes farther and they get more followers. Don't do that. Make your comments impactful. That is not effective. All right. Now, if you start doing thoughtful posts that actually add something to the conversation, sometimes you can take those thoughts or that actual post and turn that into an original post of your own. So our walk phase is we're going to create original posts. Again, not to be negative, here's what I don't want to see. View my verified achievement. Everybody knows that crap is auto-generated. You didn't write jack squat. You went from the CompTIA website, you completed your test, and you clicked post to LinkedIn. And then you did nothing else. I know it gets a lot of engagement, but I see so many people, and that is the only post they ever put up. Don't do that. Write something. Post a picture of yourself. Talk about what you're doing for your upskill. All right. How can you find your voice? What can you talk about? You can curate content. You can go on YouTube and talk about your favorite video that you just watched, your favorite podcast, your favorite book you just read. I'm doing that now. Share your opinions, ask questions, all of that stuff. All right. And then we get into the run phase. I won't talk much about this, but this is when you get good and confident in posting stuff on LinkedIn. Now you're going to optimize with regards to the algorithm. Now you're going to start doing some A/B testing of your own. Does it work better with pictures? Do more people respond to videos? Daily content is what's going to set you apart. Every day you put something out there, and that's why I do the LinkedIn hard mode challenge, because I want to encourage people to start putting out daily content. Don't share posts. Please don't share posts. Sorry, that was a bit rude. Point from back here. Please don't share posts. Okay, it doesn't work. And I'm amazed how many data-driven people will sit there and share posts day after day after day and sit there and go, I can't figure out why my content doesn't work. Well, because that thing you do every day doesn't work. Figure it out. Have the guts to share your story. Your story is interesting because you have the guts to share it. All right, we're on number 4, powering through. Portfolio. Now, I skimmed through this on the Indian presentation. I only did one slide because I was super embarrassed, but I did admit I personally did not have a project portfolio back then. I still don't really have a project portfolio. I have a professional portfolio. It doesn't have very many projects on it, but I'll show you a glimpse at it real quick. Working on this myself. You can find projects anywhere. One of my biggest pet peeves, and please don't ever do this. People come to me for advice and I say, hey, I don't see a project portfolio on your profile. Do you have a project portfolio? Oh, well, I was going to do that, but blah, blah, blah. And I say, okay, well, work on some projects, something that interests you, go get some data sets and work on that. Where do I find data? Holy crap. Did you just admit to me that you can't work a search engine? Please don't ever tell me you can't find data. Data is everywhere. Project-ready data sets are everywhere, okay? Kaggle has them. Like, everybody has them. Google has them for free. Go find them. Anything that interests you, you can go to ESPN.com and pull data sets off of there if sports is what you're into, all right? You can find data. If you can't find data, I question your desire and aptitude to become a data analyst or business analyst or whatever flavor you want to pursue, okay? Go find it, go work with it, go throw it into Tableau or your BI program of choice, make some charts and graphs, have fun with it. Here's my portfolio, okay? I got tired. I was working on a website that I couldn't get to work. And so I just went to Google Sites and played with that. So that's Google Sites right there. Major data, that's me, all right? And I'll give you guys a link at the end if you want to go play with it. There's not that much on there. It's just a couple of my favorite videos that I've been in, that sort of thing. All right, strategic brand. This part's short. Strategic brand to me means you're going to pull all of those other technical elements together and you're going to make sure they're all aligned, okay? You're going to start deciding, what does my content need to be? Maybe even down to the granular level of, what do I need to post on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday? You're going to look at your color palette. As silly as that sounds, go look at your color palette. If you look at my banner and my picture, Red shirt, there's a bunch of red in the banner. Gray suit, there's a bunch of blue in the banner. I got a blue background behind my picture. It plays. I'm telling you, it plays. All right. So pay attention to that sort of stuff. Your reputation these days exists mostly on the internet. You think of the number of people that you meet on social media and the number of people you meet IRL, it dwarfs the social media. Even if you're not a social media person, it dwarfs the number of people that you meet in the flesh. And so most of your reputation is carried by people that you may never meet personally. All right. So make sure that your personal brand is on point. It's the one thing you can control. The people in the office, they might hear you like burp or fart or do something stupid, or tell that off-color joke you don't want to admit. But you know, online, you control everything that goes out there. Okay, so you really got no excuse to screw it up. All right, who are you now, and who do you want to be? I already went through the titles, so we'll just punch through there. This is my favorite quote in the whole world. I love this thing, and I love the YouTube video, which is largely a deep fake, but it's still fun to watch. If you go on YouTube and look up Bruce Lee like water, it's just great. You know, be water, my friend. And he talks about water as a metaphor. It fills, it becomes the thing that it goes into. And like I said, we are what we do. If you are moving into a new profession, become the thing that you want to be. Just in word and deed, you do it every day. You think of yourself that way. 6 months prior to my separation, I put the word veteran in my headline, whereas it used to say executive officer or Marine major or some crap like that. And I took a ration of shit for it because you know, guys at work would bust my chops and be like, oh yeah, anything for a veteran. I put it in there because I wanted to adopt that mindset. I'm still working hard every day. I wasn't checked out, but I needed my online persona to be someone that was out there and available to hire. All right. So that's, to me, that's what that quote is all about. All right. You can read this on your own. I can talk about this all day, but I think I'm running perilously short of time. So the red circle, who you really are. The blue circle is your professional brand. You need to get comfortable where that overlap is. That's where most people work pretty well. The red side, yeah, don't talk about politics or religion on LinkedIn. Like, you probably wouldn't talk about it at work most of the time, so don't bring it in there. You know, sex life, that sort of thing, just leave that out. The blue side is where people struggle, and that's that imposter syndrome. If you're upskilling, if you're developing something, people don't like to talk about that. And I found that out early on. When I started talking about, I'm learning SQL. Who else is learning SQL? People were thrilled, but nobody else was talking about that. So you got to get comfortable with that left side of the slide, talking about and imagining yourself as that thing you want to become. Like I said, I can talk about that for days. All right, define your brand. Make sure you got limited bins. Okay, I don't talk about every part of me on LinkedIn because that would just muddy the waters. You want to pick like 3 or 4 things to kind of define your brand, maybe even less. Some people aren't comfortable sharing personal stuff on there. That's fine. All right, the steps don't end. It's not a Gantt chart. Iterate. I still work on profile. I still work on network. I obviously still work on content just about every day. Portfolio I'm working on, and brand is all encompassing. Okay, so you kind of got to do that clutter effect, but none of them ever ends. All right, lessons learned. Your profile can and will create passive opportunities for you, as will your brand that encompasses it. You got to have a network to get work. Remember that 1 in 1,000. You do not want to be 1 in 1,000. You want to be the one they're talking about in a room that they want to go hire. Content creation, overcome the F word. You cannot have fear. Okay, people aren't going to be that mean to you, and even if they are, you can just block them anyway. Put your stuff out there. Put your work out there for people to see and judge and interact with. The portfolio is crucial, especially for tech professionals, probably some other professions as well, but got to have that. I will tell you that I've lost count of the number of people that have come to me to look for help, which I still find hilarious because I don't know what the hell I'm doing. But every person that's ever come to me for help has had at most 1.5 of those 5 elements to their name. And generally they'll talk about, oh yeah, I was going to put up my portfolio, but it's not quite ready yet. And at most they have a complete profile and the beginnings of a network, but their network's not engaged. None of them have content. None of them have any effort put into brand, and almost none of them have an online portfolio. At most they've got a GitHub that's just kind of impersonal and super dry. Okay. If you have all 5 of these things, I have yet to meet a person that has 3 or more of these elements that is not employed. So get to work. All right. If you want to know more about me, okay, I lied. I didn't put my my link on there. I will post it in the chat after this. But if you want to learn more maybe about me, that's a couple of YouTube hits that I did. Kediki Vadia. If I could recommend a personal branding channel for you, click on that link, which I will post this slideshow. Kediki Vadia is a name to remember. She has an amazing networking and personal branding channel. She's putting out content like every week. And she is going into data analytics. She's about to actually come to our side of the pond in the United States and get her master's degree, but she's awesome. How to get an analytics job is still kind of chugging along in a different form. Yeah, and then follow me on LinkedIn. 42 minutes, dang it. Slipping in my old age.
Woohoo!
Great job, Al.
Thanks.
Yeah, let's open up for some question. I think we
can't hit a target anymore, Bill. Jesus.
Wow, that was amazing. Can you feel the sensation? That was great, Al.
Anybody
awesome.
have questions? Any comments? Anything? Hey, Al, I do have one question, clarification. I've been told that LinkedIn algorithm, if you change anything in your profile, it automatically picks that up as a new activity. Is that correct? So like if I update my pictures or updated my, tagline, whatever we do. So
I mean, new activity to what effect?
I guess it just gets you, to be more visible with say recruiters or so forth. That
I have not heard. So I would imagine the search engine optimized section. So yeah. I didn't highlight this. Search engine optimized is your headline, your summary or about section, your experience, and your skills. Those are the 4 biggest things that the search engines look for. So those are the things that you really need to focus on. Hey, for skills, go to job listings for jobs that sound appealing to you and start anything that you already have, start copying that over, start listing that. If you don't have it, that's a clue to start working on that stuff. But yeah, I've not heard that like you get a engagement boost or something from changing something in the profile.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's recommended that, to your point, right? The whole iteration. Mm-hmm. So if you're constantly improving your profile, that gets you bump up a little bit in terms of, especially because when these recruiters are looking into their algorithm, like anything else, hey, this guy's fresh, boom, so forth.
Yeah. So I wouldn't doubt it. It certainly sounds plausible. It sounds like something LinkedIn would do, but I had not heard that.
I have
anybody else?
Yeah,
go ahead, David.
Hey, yeah. So I've got a comment on on the portfolio aspect. Since you were mentioning like the CompTIA certificate, those auto-generated things, if you're creating a portfolio and you're using things that are kind of the equivalent of Hello World things, so empty cars, the Titanic data set.
Yeah.
Any of those things that it's like everyone already has something on it, it's probably not best. Like you'd mentioned some people doing stuff with sports, those where, it's something that you're really passionate about. Those make for really good portfolios.
Yeah, and absolutely. I mean, my one exception I would say is if you've got nothing, absolutely. If you go on Kaggle and run the Titanic data set and, and kind of paint by numbers with that thing, that's better than having a blank space if you want to start there. But yeah, absolutely. Your goal should be to come up with something original, to find an actual problem or an interesting data set and kind of reverse engineer and say, what can I do with this? And do something that people haven't done before, or at least that you didn't just figure out from somebody else.
Right.
But yeah, good point. Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Sorry, excuse me. Can I ask another question from before? Well, 2 things actually. I think first off, Tim, I think you're betraying your New Englandness because trying to evoke Brady to come back, but no, it's just there's no R in my name.
I actually am from New England.
I know, that's what I'm saying. I think
you're
you do
evoking
your New England. Your New England.
Yes.
To to the man of the hour, sir. Mr. Bellamy, I need this. I need this video. So I want to ask, how do I get it? This recording. But more specifically, for content, posting content, like I don't understand, because this is not like posting content on YouTube where you just make a video and you post it. This is like, what are you on LinkedIn? What are you gonna do? Well, I mean, you know what I mean, on a daily basis, posting a video, right? On LinkedIn, it's kind of like not pertinent.
Oh, but it absolutely can be. There are people that produce video content daily. I find it's best to mix it up. I try to do a video once a week.
On LinkedIn?
Yeah. Yeah, man, go to my profile. I got them. They're all over the place.
Okay.
I was afraid of doing video for a long time. And then, yeah, I use, there's a program called Capwing where you can, you know, you can make a video, load it up. It'll auto-generate subtitles for you. Subtitles are a big thing because most people scroll through their feed with the videos on silent. So they'll decide if they're interested in watching a video by looking at the subtitles and obviously the picture if it's interesting. But if it's just a person talking into a camera, you know, you gotta get them with the subtitles.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. There's plenty of ideas out there. Just scroll through the feed. You'll see videos all the time. I don't know who was first.
Luke's in the house. Nice.
Just
Margarita, you still got a question?
Yeah.
I have a quick question.
Can you hear me?
Jerson, Margarita had her hand up. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead.
And then Sonali does.
So I have a question. So I'm glad I got on. I had another call, but thank you for. I caught most of this, and someone reached out to me and they said, because I just started the LinkedIn harder mode challenge, and
awesome.
They're like, "Oh, I like your post," and da 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 da, and I was like, "How do you get so creative?" And I was like, well, I just talk about what I'm like currently going through in like my transition, and I had a little bit of health, but try not to talk too much about it, but just kind of like what I'm working on, how I've connected with Forblock, and how I got connected with Canderful. I'm sorry for interview workshop. I actually won some coffee yesterday, so that was cool.
Nice.
And so I talked a little bit about that, and they were like, oh, you sound so perfect. You sound so, I'm like, but my fear is like the camera. So this is why I started joining more of these. I wanted to see if I could like try to do like the book review, the thing that you are currently doing.
Yep.
But how do you get over that like video? Like, I feel like it's kind of a struggle for me. Like, because now with COVID and all these companies, like I feel like I need the practice, but how do you get over that fear? Like I struggle a lot with like video interviews, and this is why I thought about doing the maybe do like a book reviews like starting next month. And I just wanted some tips, like how do you get over that camera fear?
Yeah, I mean, so it's reps is the easy answer, but more than that, just record yourself and watch yourself. Like you don't have to post everything to kind of crush the fear out of yourself through public scrutiny. You can just record yourself. Like if you do your elevator pitch, if you do your tell me about yourself response, or any of those things that are on LinkedIn Learning that you can do that. You can record yourself on LinkedIn Learning or the interview module or whatever it is, and it'll actually evaluate your answer. That helps you get over the fear, just recording yourself and watching yourself, because that's more embarrassing than actually showing it to other people. Like you're your own worst critic. So yeah, I would say if you're not comfortable posting it for people to see, just watch yourself until you kind of get over that, oh, I look goofy, or I and ah too much, which still gets me. But yeah, that's the first step, I think. Keep it short too. Like if you want to do like reels or YouTube shorts or something like that, they don't work to promote your YouTube channel real well if that's what you're into. But yeah, if you do short videos, 30 seconds, how much can you screw up in 30 seconds? Sonali, you got a question?
Actually, you already answered my question, but I really appreciate this space too, and it's been wonderful even jumping on. I guess you can still ask the question. There might be some more information you can add. So I recently started taking the Google Data Analytics course just to transition into data analysis. Yeah. So learning SQL and learning Power BI on my own time. How do I use that knowledge to create content? That's going to be my biggest, I guess, struggle at the moment. It's just, I'm not sure what I don't know. And I don't know how to articulate that knowledge into words where I think it's, again, overcoming that fear of like, oh, maybe I don't know much to even talk about it.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I would just express it very much like that and just say, hey, last night I did another lesson on SQL. Let me run this by you guys and see if I understand this correctly. The first problem with kind of sort of mundane update posts like that is people put too much like update crap in the header. The first 3 to 5 lines is your attention gainer, and that's the scroll stopper. So people are scrolling through, they see your post. If the first few lines that appears above the see more is interesting, they're going to stop and read your post, and then you get, engagement. If it's boring, they're going to keep going. So if you say happy Friday, I did another lesson on SQL, blah, 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 blah. If it's all update crap, they're not going to pay attention. If you go out there and say, give me some feedback, or if you put like random stuff in capital letters or a bunch of exclamation points or emojis or something like that, it's kind of corny, but it's scroll stopper. They're going to look. But if you say, hey, I need your help, network, help me out here, then they're going to click it open because they want to know what you want. And then you say, I'm going to run down this lesson that I got last night on SQL. Tell me if I've got this correct. Now you're appealing to their intellect and their expertise, and they're like, oh, she's thinking I know more about SQL than her. Oh, let me check this out. So, or at least that you got them to open the post, which gives you a view anyway. So,
all right, that's actually helpful. So thank you. I'll try that.
Yeah, no worries. That's why in harder mode, I told people they weren't allowed to do like mundane greetings or like mention the date or day of the week or anything like that in their opener. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries. Jerson, you still got something?
Yeah, so this is kind of a two-parter, I suppose, but kind of like after you obtain, say, a job or something like that, how do you kind of keep reigniting your brand and don't feel like you're beating like a dead horse? And also, how do you kind of post without feeling like you're kind of tooting your own horn with, say, coworkers or like your bosses or former bosses who are seeing these posts, because you probably already connected with them in a professional setting like this social media versus a Facebook or something like that. So I was just curious how you kind of word things so that you don't come off like, oh, look at me, I'm learning this, I'm trying to move on, or, if that makes any sense.
So, I mean, the first thing I would say is you want to find yourself a place where they're not only good with you learning new things, but they actively encourage and possibly even pay for that. I will tell you, it was a bit weird starting at Analect, because Bill can tell you that Analect has like 1,000 employees in India, and we have like 220 in the United States. And of those 220, you're looking at the 2 people that post more than anyone else, it's me and Bill. Right. And my boss is a distant third, but it like almost nobody at my company posts anything on LinkedIn.
Same.
I mean, it's a little weird how little they use it, and the company doesn't post nothing. It's honestly strange, and I don't know why it is.
I've really enjoyed this. Oh, I was going to add Al.
So,
okay,
Brad might be 4th.
I'm like 60th.
You're behind Andrea.
So I haven't been a veteran. I haven't served, but I had a really hard time breaking into this industry. And I don't want to like tangent, but like it took me a long time, like a year and a half. Like I was so depressed. I was so like, it was insane, the journey I had to go through. And I had some lessons and some really exciting things about it too. But when I first joined an agency, this was back in 2006 or 7, they were like, you shouldn't post on social. Well, they were also like, what's Facebook? But that quickly changed. But I don't know. I
not like half our business is based on Facebook. So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. it's almost like it's like what can I post? What am I allowed to post? I just don't know, so.
Maybe you're being the trendsetter and it's awkward being the first one, but once you get past it, if you stay there long enough, hopefully other people hop on the train with you. So,
I mean, Jerson, do you use Instagram?
Not really. That's one of the few that I try to stay off of, but
yeah, or Twitter.
I only have a Twitter so I can follow people for stupid tweets. I don't.
But you know the shenanigans that go on.
Oh, 100%. Yeah.
Like you can go on Instagram and not be like a thirsty bastard, like creeping on people and doing weird stuff. You can go on Twitter and not scream at people about politics. It's possible. Facebook too. The experience is what you make of it. And so the tone and tenor of your posts can be perfectly above board. And, just like you don't go on Instagram to chase people of whichever gender interests you, you don't need to go on LinkedIn and say, hey, my next job is going to be this, and this. Like, do you need that content? Is that going to add anything to you? No, probably not. But what's going to enhance your brand? I sit there and talk about the stuff I do at work. Obviously I can't talk about everything because, I'm not sitting there like naming clients or, showing them like screenshots of stuff I'm working on. But I sit there and talk about challenges that I face at work. And it's like, hey, I reacted well to this today. Hey, I kind of screwed this up today. And here are the lessons that I've learned from those experiences. I can't imagine that anyone at my company would be disappointed in that. In fact, they're probably like, oh, he's actually learning lessons. He's not just, sitting there stewing on or oblivious to the lessons that are there to be learned. So, it's you don't say everything that comes to your head, just like you probably shouldn't on any social media platform. I mean, if you wouldn't go to the water cooler and start shouting it so your boss could hear, it's probably not something you want to put on LinkedIn anyway. Just like that off-color joke or, talking about politics or your sex life or that's just not something you need to talk about. So not something you need to engage with when other people talk about it either.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Except that at least for Facebook, sorry to interrupt anybody else. You just mentioned this. We have at least 15, I have 15 years or 12 years or whatever of Facebook postings of talking about politics, sex, or whatever. And so how do I prevent, those 12 years from coming back to biting me in the ass?
Make your profile private.
Yeah, you can do that. There's I don't know about Facebook, but on Twitter, there's something called like Twit Cleaner, where it just basically takes everything you tweeted from like whatever cutoff date, a year ago, 6 months ago, deletes it. Now, I'm sure like the FBI can still find it, but.
Oh no, because for example, like you'll get those make it private. You still get like, hey, this memory from 8 years ago. You're like, stop posting that kind of stuff. I don't want to remember that. So I don't know. So
I don't know. I'm sure there's a way
to stop it?
Probably. I mean, there's money to be made off of it, so somebody's doing it, I'm sure.
Yeah. For what it's worth, I didn't do this like the LinkedIn hard mode to kind of break in, but back in the day, I found some community groups that were good for what we do, and it was like then Tableau, and it was called the Web Analytics Association Messaging Board Community. It was like 2006, but there were like people higher up that wanted to help me, and like I wrote like and I used the bad words, aspiring, hopeful, like I shouldn't have done that, but I got a lot of leads from it, and I got flown places. First job interview, wrecked the rental car, didn't get the job. So don't do that. So that's a learning. But no, it was really good. I wrote to some authors of like books that I liked in the industry, and like they were kind of like flattered by it and like help me network and stuff.
Yeah.
And I couldn't go to some conference because it was like $3,000 one year, and I was like wanting to switch jobs. So I wrote to like the guy who ran it. He let me like volunteer. It was actually kind of prestigious too, because I got to like be affiliated with all the speakers, like Brad's not whatever, you know, but anyway, those kinds of things are things that I did to help.
Yeah, I mean, reach out to people where they're interested. I will say, like, groups work on other platforms. They suck on LinkedIn for the most part. So take that for what it's worth. You're probably better off on like finding a good Discord server.
Have you guys heard of the Measure Slack? Is that something that Jim Stern has mentioned? I'm interested in it. If it's
not that one.
I don't know much about it, but I've heard that oh, it was stale.
All right, everyone. Well, gonna have to cut it off because we just have about 15 minutes left. So thank you so much, Albert, for coming and knocking it out of the park with this presentation. So appreciate you. I'm sure everyone
Thanks,
here
guys.
took something away from that. So as a thank you, you're very familiar with this because you were in the Marine Corps for a very long time, but as a thank you from us, Tim, you want to kick it off?
Yeah, sure. So if you're in the military or whatever, you probably heard of the challenge coin. I know I got one in the Air Force after basic training, things like that. But this is a tradition in the military to present somebody this coin to show your thanks and that you appreciate them for supporting you, or to show just appreciation for the individual. And so we like to present these to our presenters as a thank you and as a friend of the tug. So Albert, you will be receiving one of these. I think
awesome.
Abe will be mailing it out to you probably. I got one right here. If I want to keep it on my desk, as even as the Space Force there, we've managed to fit that one on. So
I'm not gonna mail it. I'm gonna give it to him in person.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, whatever. As long as he gets it.
I'm not coming to Kansas City. Like, you better come here.
No, I'm coming to you. But yeah, so
nice.
I'll get with you afterwards, and then But Tim or Lou, since you guys are kind of more involved in this than I was. Yeah, recently we had a Tuskegee Airman Challenge. Tim made a really awesome viz.
Thanks.
Did you drop it in here?
I didn't, but I mean, do you want me to send you the link?
Yeah, or I'll grab it. Yeah, Tim.
I can talk about the challenge and maybe you can grab it.
Yeah, I'll grab it right now.
Yeah, so the Tuskegee Airman Challenge, we were working with Alan Hillary and BLIT Data. I think that's what he's from. But basically, he gave us a Tuskegee Airman data set, and we were to make a visual out of it. And then this could go to the, it's called the CAF, the Commemorative Air Force, which if you've seen like planes that have been like old World War II planes that have been restored, maybe the CAF had some role in that. Or so this one was the actual Red Tail office. So they deal specifically with Tuskegee Airmen and actually WASP to the women who flew to transport planes. But so the challenge was to make a visual. And did you put it in?
Yeah. Do you want me to show it?
Yeah, you can show it.
Okay.
So this is just one example that, and I just finished this last night, actually. Hopefully it shows.
Yeah, still check it out, everyone, on LinkedIn and stuff.
Yeah.
Here's
so this is mine. So I tried to do it as a newspaper feel, and there's some. So I had an important thing to do with visuals is tell the story. So I had the timeline there, and then just information about it. And if you want to scroll down a little bit, where they're from, that's a picture of the captain, Captain Davis Jr. Benjamin Davis Jr., who is the commander of the 99th, and then all the planes that they flew, and some other visuals there that you can interact with. So the visual is still out there. We have the, I think the data is on our GitHub, but we need to, maybe I'll figure out some way to send a message out to everybody. But if you want to participate in this, then let us know either through LinkedIn or Twitter or whatever, and we'll get you hooked up with it. So we're on Twitter and LinkedIn. I'm not sure how you guys found out about this, but yeah, just reach out to us, and if you want to get involved. And on the 28th, just in 4 days, they're having we're part of another TUG presentation, which we'll be going over some of the visuals that we made. So that's our LinkedIn there. That link is to the group. So if you just go on LinkedIn and search Veterans Advocacy Tableau user group, will pop right up. But that's our Twitter there too.
Yeah. Hey, remember, Lou, this has got to change.
Yeah.
We got to get this updated.
I got a tie on. I kind of like
learning
it.
has occurred.
Okay.
It looks like I owe you money or something.
Oh, that's not a bad picture, right? I mean, that's approachable.
I did want to get people to
Come on.
The data says otherwise, man.
Hey, just to add with the challenge. So the data is pretty clean.
Mm-hmm.
So this is an opportunity, right? If you want to try your Tableau skill set, we encourage you to create something. I know Chris participated, and we got some other folks in here. And then I think the team is picking winners every week, right, Tim? If I'm not mistaken.
I forget how they're going to do it. Yeah. But we'll figure that out. I have to talk to Alan and see what the system is that they're going to do.
Yeah.
Yep. But I did want to take this opportunity to ask if anybody had any announcements. Maybe they're part of a TUG, or if they have any job announcements or whatever.
Or any ideas for us as TUG leaders to.
Yes.
Yeah, we're open. If someone has an idea, we can find a way to make it into a meeting.
Yeah, tips and tricks or whatever. I know a lot of you are new to the data world and to Tableau. If we can have a presenter to go through like how to get involved in the community and stuff, but
yeah, whatever the people want.
If you guys know who Tom Ives is, he does a mentorship session every Saturday that is open to anybody. I mean, if you know Tom, he's like the most relentlessly positive person on earth. So everything is like all snaps and you're wonderful. And so super positive environment. They have a speaker every week. This Saturday, I'm the speaker. So if you're not sick of this talk, it's going to be fairly similar. Kediki and I, the YouTuber that I talked about, she and I are going to kind of, flip back and forth. We're not going to rehearse at all. So it might get a little weird and kind of awkward talking back and forth. But yeah, that is worth going to even when I'm not speaking. So recommend that. It's every Saturday at it's like 11 or 11:30 Eastern time, which I should probably know if I'm actually going to speak this Saturday. So.
Can you make an event for let us all know once, and then we can
yeah, I don't know if he wants to kind of blast it to everybody. Because I think it is a Zoom call as well. So
that's right.
But yeah, definitely if you guys hit me up on LinkedIn, first of all, anybody that wants to connect that's here today, just like I said, send me a message. But yeah, if you're here today and you just say, hey, with Vatug, I'm with you, send me a message and I'll send you the link to get on there. But yeah, I don't think he does that like public. It's not super close hold, but he's not blasting all over social media either.
Awesome. Yeah. So 5 minutes left. Kind of any save rounds? Anyone? Anything?
And this is, I don't know if you guys know. And did we say this? That this is actually going to be on YouTube. So all of our tugs go onto YouTube. And it's actually pretty quick. So it's like the next day or two. So you can rewatch this, because I know how that you want to spend your time is to rewatch our tugs.
Hell yeah, take notes.
I watch them to count how many times I say and ah, and then I try to beat that record next time.
That's why I generally
try to lower it. Try to lower
my own appearances.
Yeah.
Guys, just real quick, thank you for letting me in. First off, this is my first meeting, and it was awesome. This is great.
Hopefully, we didn't set the bar too high. Next time, you'll be disappointed. But yeah, let us know if you want anything, any topics or whatever. Spread the word.
Shoot us a message.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Or any speakers that people.
And if you want to speak, also.
Yeah, totally.
Yep.